Good question right off the bat from our guy Scott. Do you think Kyle should have played Lance in the fourth quarter? There's a couple things there. One, like obviously, like yeah, you would like to see Trey Lance in there, but I just don't think it was the time. I don't think it was the time to bring Trey Lance in there. I was thinking one of the last two possessions they would have got him in there. So I thought there was one where the 49ers, they had the ball, they ended up punting, and then they got the muff fumble. That drive, I would have liked to see Trey Lance coming in that drive, but just the fact that he kind of got in there at the end, was able to make, play with his legs, get a first down, just things like that. It's going to continue to kind of build that confidence in him and what he's seeing. So I have no issues with how it went. I think that was awesome, just getting them on the field as well as a lot of the other rookies. But 49ers back-to-back wins. And I want to talk about really what I think has been the biggest factor in the 49ers winning. And there are a lot of people that are saying, the 49ers, they found their identity. They're running the ball. And they are. I mean, they ran the ball 86 times over the last 2 weeks. 86 times. Now, a few of those I think are kneel downs. But we'll just say, take out the kneel downs, probably about 80 times. All right. So over the last couple of weeks, they've ran the ball about 80 times. And with everybody saying that's the 49ers identity, I do think ideally that's what they want to be. That's what they want to get to, right? They want to get to really just being able to pound the rock like that. It's probably not going to be ideal all the time, but I will tell you one thing that I think has really been the key contributor to the 49ers and their success over the last 2 weeks. One, they've been much better with penalties. Against the Jaguars, they had one penalty for 12 yards, right? So they're not shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. Two, they're not turning the ball over. 0 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. 3, they're taking the wet ball away. All right. 4 takeaways over the last 2 weeks. So we can point to a lot of different things, 49ers, they've been able to run the ball, like that's the team. But really what it comes down to is they've been much more disciplined. They're not committing penalties. Again, yesterday, 1 penalty, 12 yards. They're taking the ball away, and they're not turning the ball over. That's why the 49ers are winning. Because if you look at games that they've lost early on, that was the big reason why. You know what I'm saying? That was the big reason why. Like, just shooting themselves in the foot, turning the ball over. I just saw a stat that Jimmy Garoppolo has been the most efficient quarterback over the last 4 weeks since the Chicago game. And, a big part of that is not turning the ball over. But when he does, 49ers have lost. Matter of fact, I was listening to Haberman in the middle call, and they pointed this out. In every game that Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown an interception, 49ers lost that game. In the games when he hasn't thrown an interception, 49ers won that game. Now, I don't know if it's just that simple, but it's just not contributing to whatever else is going on. Obviously, you've had some fumbles and things like that. Over the last 2 weeks, that's been the biggest thing. That's what has stood out to me the most. They are winning the turnover battle. I thought that the 49ers offense against Arizona was good, but they turned the ball over 3 times, 2 fumbles, and then 1 pick at the end of the game. That's probably the biggest difference. Now, obviously, the 49ers defense in that game played like crap. They weren't tackling well, but the offense didn't do anything to keep them in games, to keep the other team off of the field. I see another comment from my guy, Rich McDonald. 49ers are converting on third downs. They're doing that at a high clip. They're converting on third downs. That was something that they struggled with early on. And I don't think it's just so much that, again, they found their identity. They found their identity. Of course, I think they're getting to their identity on more of what they want to play like. But the biggest thing is not turning the ball over, not committing penalties. They've done a tremendous job of doing that over the last couple of weeks. I think that's what, and if they want to beat the Vikings, and we're going to get to that, that's what they're going to have to do. Continue to not have the penalties, to not have the turnovers. And I see my guy, Rich, right here, says sustained drives and scoring TDs. If you're not turning the ball over and you're not committing penalties, you will sustain drives. If you're the 49ers, I think obviously Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely a good enough quarterback to do that. I like where they're headed, man. I like where they're headed. All right. Another thing, I guess I don't want to say on not like it's not a negative note, but Kyle Shanahan, he's having this battle within himself on what he wants to be, right? Am I the aggressive guy or am I not? And it doesn't matter. And I tweeted this out when it happened, right? When the 49ers, they have 4th and 1 from like 3-yard line and they elected to kicked the field goal right after a 20-play drive. And I look at things. I looked at the first couple of weeks, and I remember it's come. I didn't come on here yet. I don't think I did the morning show yet. But first couple of weeks, 49ers beat the Lions and the Eagles. And to me, it just the games weren't like just what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, right? Like just like kind of dominating performances, looking really good. There was something weird going on in those games, and I'm like, if the 49ers play like this, like they're not going to win games, right? Like it looks a little weird. They're not going to win games. I don't think that these two teams are the standard. And I got a lot of pushback on that. Oh, Croc, they're 2-0. Stop being so negative. Stop being so negative. And I'm like, I'm not really trying to be negative. I'm just looking at it from the grand scheme of things, like with what the 49ers want to be, what do we want the 49ers to be? And that is a really good football team. They play good football. They dominate teams. And of course, you're not going to dominate every team. I get that. But I would like to see those moments of just pure dominance, right? Even if it's a game that doesn't go exactly how you would like it to go, even if it results in a loss. But I watched this game like the Packers yesterday. The Packers lost to the Vikings. I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of different areas where the Packers thought that they could have done better. But you just see the competitiveness. Like, hey, we are a good team. We've done a lot of things good. This is, when I looked at the first 2 weeks of the 49ers, I was just like, something's not quite there. People thought I was overreacting. Then boom, 49ers lose the next 4 straight games, right? Next 4 weeks, 49ers lose all those games. And to me, it's not always about what's right in front of you. It's not always about what's right in front of you. Sometimes it's about like that thing, like that that you're looking for. So yesterday, Kyle Shanahan had an opportunity to really kind of step on Jags' throats and stick it to them. You had a 20 play drive. You ate up 13 minutes or whatever it was, and you ended up settling for a field goal. And he's kind of battling within himself because he said after the game, he wanted to go for it, but then he was like, I just kicked the field goal. And I do think when you look at that against the Jags, it's not like that doesn't hurt you, right? Like you're not worried about that with them. But to me, it's just a little bit bigger than that. I look at it like and again, just what's the thought process? And I saw it last week and I see it again. It's this like unwillingness to be aggressive early on. You guys remember the Super Bowl. I think we always look at the Super Bowl, and obviously the 49ers had a chance to win at the end of the game and ended up losing. But if you remember early in that game, some things that led to touchdowns or a touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs, they went for it multiple times on 4th down early on to keep a drive going. And that was a big part of why they were even able to stay in that game. Multiple times they were aggressive. And when I look at Andy Reid, I saw it last year. Andy Reid, playoff game. Patrick Mahomes had got knocked out the game. And it was like 4th and 1 from midfield. He could have just punted it. And I think most teams would have. And nobody would have knocked him for that. He went for it with Chad Henne, picked up the first down in the game. So when I look at Kyle Shanahan and some of his decision making, not just this week, last week there was something against the Rams where he didn't call timeout. They would have had about a minute and a half to be able to drive down the field. He didn't call timeout. He ended up just kind of letting the clock bleed out, and they went into halftime up. Awesome. But then later in the game, he went for it on 4th and 7 from midfield. So I'm like, I think when the game is tight, he gets a little tight. When it's like, I don't know, he gets tight instead of just always having that aggressive mindset. So that's just something to keep track on. Again, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I love what we did game balls for Locked On 49ers. I gave a game ball to both coaches, Kyle Shanahan and our guy, D'Amico Ryans. I think they've both done a terrific job of turning this thing around and getting their their players to be much more disciplined, whether it's with, not turning the ball over or penalties. They've done an awesome job there. But also, it's just something to keep an eye on. Not worried about it, but just something to keep an eye on. All right. Kyle Shanahan and it's a weird aggressiveness because I think in theory he wants to be aggressive, but sometimes he has this battle within himself. So I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't want to say he doesn't have faith in Jimmy Garoppolo, because again, he went for it on 4th and 7 from midfield last week when he didn't have to. But I don't know if it's more of a like a front runner mentality where it's like, well, we're ahead, and if we get it, then we really kill them. But if we don't, and if it's tight, it's just like tight situation. Not sure if I don't know. I really don't know what it is, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on. All right. And again, I don't look at it from the standpoint of the 49ers beating the Jaguars, and it didn't matter that he didn't go for it. I'm looking at the thought process behind it.